Hey team, welcome. Randy Reamers must span the chasm. What makes those guys and gals that are making $500,000 a year or more so much different than me? It's a question I get asked a lot, and so we've been running this series here for the last couple of weeks, and we'll continue to do so for a few more weeks on what makes these cats so much better. And we're basing this off of a quote from J.D. Rockefeller: success is doing common things uncommonly well. And that's what these guys and gals do such a great job of. They do the right things the right way, and they never sacrifice. Last 2 weeks, we talked about mindset, how they view everything as an investment, their activities as an investment. They're very careful with that. They prioritize opportunities very carefully. They're very, very strict with their operating rhythm. They kill it. Now, someone sent me a note about leeches. Randy, why are you so crazy about these leeches? Well, here's why. Leeches actually are sucking the life out of your sales productivity. They're killing you. And the other thing is they're very, very hard to see. They don't show up on the calendar. They're not like, hey, I'm going to have a leech time from 11:30 to noon. But they happen anyway. They happen in those little spots. I'll give you an example. Today, I had to be at home to meet the HVAC guy because there's something going on with our hot water heater. And there's that point in time where you're sitting down going over the bill and the recommendations, and he's got to call back to the office, and you're going kind of back and forth, and then you're just sitting there for a while. And that would have been pure leech time because I'm just sitting there doing nothing. But I've been through this goat rodeo before. I knew this was going to happen, so I had a list of people that had to text or email. And while I was waiting on him to do whatever he had to do, I just sat there on my phone, texting and emailing with folks, and recovering that time, what would have been leech time, and turning that into productivity time. So it was great recapture, 10 or 15 minutes. Again, we don't see leeches, they just sort of show up. All right, well, this week's topic, I'll bet we all have got scar tissue from on this one. And it is all about the economic buyer, getting to the economic buyer to help make our case. We often talk about getting there, but we don't always do it. And as a result, our deals often slip or even die. But this is one of the traits that the best guys and gals, they do not compromise on. They fight hard to get in front of that economic buyer. Not just their champion mobilizer, but the economic buyer. Now, we see that classical decision maker split a lot of times when it's about a $5,000, $10,000 deal. And there's now someone, a champion, who's got to kind of use this thing and wins most from it and kind of sells on your behalf. And then there's the economic buyer, which has to allocate the funds. They have discretionary use of funds, and that's what we want to talk about. So the first question is, Randy, does it even matter? Focus on what matters. Does this matter? And the answer is absolutely yes. I was working with the VP of Sales at TrackMaven, a company we serve up in the DC area, and Tripp and I were talking through some information, looking at wins and losses, and with deals that they won, 80% of those deals had significant economic buyer engagement and involvement. 80% of wins had significant economic buyer engagement or involvement. On the losses, 70% of the deals did not. So 80% do on the win side, 70% didn't on the loss side. That's a pretty strong and compelling statement, right? So it's worth getting in front of them. Here's another thing. If you are not getting in front of the economic buyer, if your forecasting accuracy is a little suspect, forecast time is a little bit rough for you, that's often because you are forecasting on what you want and what your hopes are on what your timelines are. The guys and gals that are in front of the economic buyer, they're that's interesting but irrelevant to them. What they're doing is they're getting from the economic buyer, they're getting the actual priority of this project. Where does it fit on their timeline? When does this thing need to start? When does it need to be delivered? The value, they build a joint collective timeline for that value realization. And two, they know the budget has been allocated and the process around that has been taken care of. The capital authorization forms are filled out, it's been submitted into Oracle, whatever has to happen there. So they've got the priority and they've got the budget locked up. And as a result of that, their forecasting actually goes through the roof because they're basing it on real information. Now, here's a habit that a lot of reps have. They let their champion go to the economic buyer for them. I'll let him take care of it. I'll let her take care of that. I've coached them on this. They can handle it. They can carry the message. Well, here's why that's not a great idea. Sometimes the economic buyer is going to punch them in the face a little bit. Maybe this, why don't we keep what we're already doing? Why would we change out platforms? Budgets are tight. Why are you asking for this money? And what happens so often is that your champion folds like a cheap suit. They melt like a pat of butter on a hot skillet. And in that process, your deal just died. So you got to fight for this. You got to be willing to stay in there and make it happen. The key is you got to be in the room when your deal is being assessed, when your life is in the balance. It's worth fighting for. Don't leave it up to someone else. The best reps fight for this, and they win bigger, better deals because of it. There are very, very legitimate reasons why your champion may not be bringing you to the economic buyer. We're not going to cover those here, but if you send me an email, I will send that out to you, and you can ponder what changes you need to make. All right, so call to action. There's always going to be a call to action. As we look from today through the end of the year, you've got deals that are critical for you to win, to make your number, blow out your number, whatever it is. Here's what I want you to do. Get together with your sales leader and the champion at the opportunity that you're serving or want to serve, and build a plan to get to the economic buyer so the right people are in the room. Number two, don't take no for an answer. You're going to get some resistance. Hey, I got this. I'll take care of it for you. Randy, no sweat. I got it. Fight for that. The best reps that fight for that economic buyer meeting, they are getting the bigger, better deals, and they're crushing it, and they're accelerating their timelines. So fight for that. In just a second, you're going to see the screen that's got all of our social channels and ways to get in touch with us. Please send me a note. Would love to. Either you'll have my direct email or to info@spanthechasm with a question or a comment. We'd love to serve you. It's our desire to give you information to help you sell better. And until next week, where we cover another facet of these guys and gals that are killing it that you could apply. Happy selling. Look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.